David Judge here, and today we have a case study with Stacey, the co-owner of Harcourts Coomera, which is located on the Gold Coast. Now, we recorded this video on site at Stacey's office, and as with any technology, we were having a couple of issues with the camera, deciding to turn off mid-interview, and for whatever reason, wanted to focus on just behind us, but it's only slightly out of focus. The content though is great, and Stacey is very open and honest around her outsourcing experience and her offshore team they employ through us. I asked a number of candid questions, including how Stacey's local team have taken to working with the offshore team, limitations she's experienced so far, and how she handles the issues of trust. So let's jump on and have a listen to the case study. Okay, hello and welcome. David Judge from Affordable Staff. I'm here with Stacey from Harcourts Coomera.
Hello.
How are you, Stacey?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, good. And Stacey has been gracious enough to meet with us today and have a little bit of a conversation with us around outsourcing and her experiences that she's actually had with her outsourcing team members. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah.
Now I have a little list of questions that I have right here that we're going to go through and ask. So yeah, this will be great. So first question, why is it you decided to outsource?
Okay, so there was a number of reasons. Our office space, first and foremost. Our office is small, but the location is amazing. So we prefer to not have to move, which means we don't have room for staff.
Yes.
We need bums on seats, and we don't have the room. So basically, having people out of the office that can do the same job as somebody in the office was so appealing to us.
Yes.
And the second reason, we have had so many, as any real estate office, so many staff come and go. Young, old, middle-aged, we have tried them all. Yeah. And we've been constantly let down. Yes. And we were just at the point of being let down so many times that we were like, we have to try something new because what we're doing isn't working. So let's give it a go. And we'd heard that this was working for some of our friends that are in real estate. So why not? Yes. Give it a go.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually. You mentioned around space because of the number of different real estate agencies and property management spaces we've been in. Space is always a premium.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of sales agents in the office. You know, we're sales and rentals based, and then we have to have storage of paperwork and machines and printers and filing. And at the end of the day, there's no room for anybody to do any work, and you want to keep growing. Yes. So something has to give.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our office is a little more spacious for the team members. Okay, so trust. Trust is a big factor for a lot of people that are considering outsourcing because realistically, you have a person that's sitting in another location in another country that are handling some of your important tasks and critical tasks. So how important do you see trust?
Trust is the number one factor when hiring anybody, really, even somebody off the street, having them come in. This business is my husband's and my livelihood. It supports my son. It's everything to us. So trust and trusting our staff, not only in the office, but trust of people out of the office is the biggest thing ever, and it was the number one thing that played on my mind when hiring somebody overseas. It was something I thought, I don't know, because you hear all these stories about overseas hackers and things, and that goes into your head, and you think, these people are going to be in my system. And it did take me a little while to overcome that, but instantly after speaking to them, a couple of times, I was fine. It was absolutely fine. And once you speak to the people that are on the other side of that computer, and you see their photo and you read a little bit about them, and it just makes you feel at ease. And I haven't had any problems. So
yeah, we're fortunately we had an office over in India, and this isn't reflective of Indians. We had an office over in India, and when we were running our online marketing business more proactively. And we had one issue with an individual that started stealing client data. And one of the things I realised at the time is that there was a limitation around what I could actually do and how I could control the staff that were in the office. And that's one of the areas that we had a really strong focus of within the Philippines. We've set up an actual entity itself, and we're an incorporated business, which actually means that any person that signs an agreement is actually a legally binding agreement. And a lot of people aren't aware that, that if you are working with someone overseas and you get them to sign an NDA or an NDU, that it doesn't actually mean anything unless they have an entity over there. I think it's like anything really at the end of the day that you can implement and put in place a billion different factors to control and keep an eye on your staff. The culture of how you actually operate your business and how you have your team, that's a big focus for us to make sure that we're attracting the right type of people in the first place. And we do have the measures in place so where we can micro see exactly what they're doing and everything. So it's been a big factor for us as well. So next question. So why did you decide to choose us?
It was purely recommendation. I had heard about the whole VA situation a few times with a few different people, and we'd actually Googled it, and I'd spoken to a couple of people, and I wasn't comfortable with them after my conversation with them at that time, and that was probably about 18 months earlier than speaking to you guys. So I gave up at that point. I didn't worry about it. And then I spoke to some friends of ours that have a real estate. They were using you guys, and they said they'd had no problems, fantastic, really talked me into it basically. And I contacted actually the girl that was working for them, and she passed me on to you guys. And after having a conversation with you, I just knew that we're on the same page, and I felt comfortable because I'm not a IT person, and the thought of speaking to somebody through the computer, even though I'm only 29.
Yeah.
I'm only 29, so I'm only, fairly young to be owning a business and be in this sort of situation, and I'm not comfortable with computers. I'm good with my systems that I know, but I'm not really comfortable with talking to somebody through a computer. And it was all really foreign to me, but you guys made it so easy. Stepped me through everything, and it was easy. And I didn't have that stress of, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. So that's why I love you guys.
Because this is the first time Stacey and I have met, and if you were to meet me 10 years ago, I had a lot more hair than what I do now. It's slowly receding.
Yeah.
But at the time when we first started off outsourcing, it was foreign for us as well, many years ago, and making sure that, and that's the thing, is that it is sort of easy, but it's knowing how to fit those puzzle pieces together.
Hearing about it sounds quite complicated.
But
it's not.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it was such a big thing for us around supporting our clients and making sure that we're always one telephone call away. I mean, Damien's standing just outside, and my wife Eva, who's a part of the business as well, she's always there for any concerns or challenges. That's right. Okay, so what limitations? What are the limitations you found so far?
The biggest thing for us so far has been anything IT based. As I said before, I'm not a computer expert at all, not even in the slightest. So that's been the biggest problem with me, is learning new systems, having to make sure everything was in place and ready for the girls to be able to log on. In terms of limitations with the staff, I haven't had any. There's nothing that they won't take on. There's nothing they won't jump in and try, which is a lot different to staff here, where if you give them a job, they're I don't know if I don't think I can try that. Where these guys are like, okay, no worries, send it through, train me. They want to learn it. So there's no limitations with the staff. The only limitation with the whole system for me has been learning the IT side of things, but it's more of me not knowing what I'm doing. So, but it's been quite easy once I've done it. So
And this isn't actually a scripted question, but if it's okay if I ask it anyway, what about your team? How have they been with the take up?
They've been good. Obviously, there's reluctance when there's any change in an office. There's always going to be a little bit of reluctance amongst some people. But even our staff that are the most reluctant to change have come around. And it didn't take as long as it has for other changes we've made in this office. Everything's happened quite easily, and I haven't had any dramas at all.
Yes, and the other part that I find really interesting is I was sitting at a conference, and they interestingly placed me at a table of property managers, and it was an interesting night because there's obviously fear associated as well around the team. Did you experience that with your team at all?
Yeah, I think not that anybody voiced it to me, but there's people coming in from overseas that are cheaper, I guess, in wage than you. They can do the same job as you. It would be a bit. Make you a bit nervous.
Sorry, I'm putting on your spot.
It would make anybody nervous to have that challenge.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and for a lot of our clients, a majority of the time, especially in the property management arena, I mean, the industry is getting tough.
It is.
And a lot of the team members that are local, they haven't got time to do the tasks as it stands. So
No.
a majority of our clients, it's all about support for the existing business.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So what is your industry? What do you think your industry thinks about outsourcing?
I think people are quite nervous about it, to be honest. Just like myself, when I first heard about it, dipped my toe in to find out about it. It all seemed too hard for me, and the trust thing was in my head that could we trust these people to come into my business and be in amongst all my data and have everything there at their fingertips. So I think everybody's really nervous about it. But at the end of the day, property management is 80% paper task, office task, sort of stuff. So, and I think at the end of the day, property managers need to be focused on the houses. I mean, we got to the point before we brought you guys on that my property managers didn't have time to go and inspect the houses because I was so weighed down with all the stuff in the office. Where now they're out and they can see the houses and the owners ring and we can say, hey, yeah, I was out there yesterday actually, or hey, yeah, I drove by and it looks good, and it's changed our business for the better because we can actually focus on the houses now instead of all this paperwork.
Yeah, which is a really, really cool. And we noticed that as well with clients. It's not necessarily just in property management, but across a number of different industries. Like there's a manufacturing client, Dan, that we've prepared a case study with previously. And one of the things that it enabled Dan to do is to start focusing more holistically and take a step back on his business and have a look at the direction that the business is going.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in there having to perform a lot of those day-to-day mundane tasks.
Yeah.
So it gives what we found is it gives an opportunity for the business owner to take a step back, but also the team for them to be able to perform some of those higher ROI things. The tasks like being able to be out on the road, drive past the place, see that it's all right, complete the inspections, all these other things that differentiate and make you stand out from the crowd and from your competitors that are still stuck in the humdrum of So it's interesting. Okay, we've had to restart the video because it, for whatever reason, didn't like the last question. So we're going to go back through. We'll just ask this last question again. So as we asked beforehand, if we can go through again, what would you say to somebody that is looking at outsourcing?
Okay, so I would say give it a go. It is scary to take that first step and start investigating into outsourcing, but it is so worth it. It will change your business, how it's run. I first started with outsourcing and I had Michelle, our lovely overseas girl, and she was to file and enter some invoices and, just do little bits like that. And now I have Michelle doing my trust accounting every day. She's in my trust accounts, which I never thought a few months back that I would have the trust for somebody overseas to jump into my trust accounts and have access to all those funds. You hear horror stories with people from Australia, let alone people from overseas. So to have Michelle in there every day is a big step for me, but it has saved so much work because you don't realise how much time you're spending on that one simple task like trust accounting. I thought I might spend about an hour a day doing that. It turns out I was spending around 3 to 4 hours because in between doing trust accounting, I was also answering phones. Staff would be walking in. I've got an important email that's popped up, so I'm quickly running and doing that. And it was just so much. It was taking up so much time, and I've realised that now that Michelle is doing it, how much time I was wasting doing that when I've got somebody over there that's more than capable and more than trustworthy, and she's now doing it, and it's amazing. And the whole outsourcing thing has just changed our office. It's changed the way I run my business. I have time to work on top of my business instead of in my business all the time now, and the staff have time to concentrate on inspecting properties instead of sitting in here doing mundane tasks like lease renewals, rental arrears, things like that. They don't have to worry about that anymore. It's all taken care of. They can concentrate on viewing that property. So I would say to anybody that is looking at doing outsourcing, just contact these guys because it's been so easy, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And then just to reiterate on that, the different areas that Stacey's talking about as well, I think one of the big things for us has always been, like I mentioned beforehand, about being the support, being there for the client and acting as you have your client and then you have us, then you have our other team that we have over in the Philippines, and then the team members that are performing the work for you. So it's been it's taken us a while to get to this stage, but it's proving to work as a good model.
It is working really well. And I'll also add in, it's also working in terms of marketing. I'm sure everybody has a different ways of marketing, but we've got the girls doing some marketing for us in their spare time, and we're all of a sudden getting all this new business. So it's returning more than we're paying out now. So it's been great. Awesome. Look forward to continuing to develop a long-term relationship with you guys as well. So thank you very much, Stacey, again for your time. Really appreciate it. And Stacey from Harcourts, David Judge from Affordable Staff. And thank you, and we'll talk again soon. Yeah, thanks.